This design is a sugar effect with gel polish, so we paint with gel polish, then before we cure it, we apply acrylic powder onto the surface to give it a raised kind of texture effect. So we'll start with the background. I'm just using a dark background and a sheer glitter color. So apply it in a thin layer and we're going to cure it for 30 seconds. After we cure it, we're going to apply top coat. So you can create any background you like, but you need to apply top coat to it and then we're going to cleanse it. It's important to cleanse it because we want the powder to only go on the design. So now I'm taking white gel polish. So I press with my brush and then I lift up to create a thin line, kind of a comma shape. So load my brush, press, and then lift up to get a thin line towards the center. So we're drawing comma shapes that are towards each other. Press, and then lift up my brush. Now I'm going to come out and kind of extend one end of the lines to create more movement. So just pick up gel polish, press, and then create a comma shape. You can turn the tip around. Now create some comma shapes coming from the other direction. So we're bringing everything towards one center. So now I'm going to begin to come and duplicate some of the lines that I created already. So I just clean my brush off and I take from the biggest part where there's excess and I pull a straight line out and then I follow that line back towards the center. So we press to create a thicker part of the line and then lift it up to create a thinner part. Now I'm going to create a couple that are vertical, one at the bottom and one at the top. So I just press down and then I create the shape and then pull it down thin, straight down. Now I'm going to create another one at the top. So just press and pull straight down towards the center. Now before we cure it, we're going to take white acrylic powder and a spatula and just pour it over the design. So because we cleansed the background before, the white powder is only going to go on the design that we drew on top. So I like to pour it over top several times, make sure that it can absorb all the powder that it can possibly absorb. And then we tap off the excess, then you're going to cure that for 60 seconds. We want to make sure that we get a really good cure. So now we'll do another one that's from a diagonal position. And we're going to create an S shape this time. So we just press and then pull around in a long S shape and then bring it back in between the first two. Then I'm going to take clean excess off of my brush and then duplicate these three lines. Make them kind of into a leaf. So just pull straight down from the thick part of the line and then pull a very thin line. So now we'll create a few more. So press and then lift up with your hand to get less pressure. And you can also clean excess off your brush too, to pull them out even thinner. And then we can extend the biggest part of the lines from the top to give it a little bit of movement. And you can move the tip around as you work. And when you do this on clients, you can move their hand around too. So just press and then draw back towards the center. And you want to make sure that you leave a few little spaces because we're going to add Swarovskis. So kind of the center point of all of these lines, we're going to put a cluster of Swarovski crystals. So clean your brush whenever you have too much excess in there. So now down at the bottom of the pattern, I'll create a little spiral. And then a few more lines on the other side to balance out that side. So just press and then lift up. Then come back around and just check, which lines I can make more interesting, which ones I can extend from the front side. And we still have a little space for our Swarovskis. And so now we're going to set this design with the acrylic powder. Obviously, we want to be careful not to mess up the design because it is a wet gel polish. We haven't cured anything yet. So you can't dip it in the powder, of course. And cure that for 60 seconds. So after we've finished with our design and we've applied the acrylic powder and cleansed, now we're ready to apply our Swarovski. So now I'm just going to add a few Swarovski with the Soak Off Gel Top Coat. So I just place the gel where I want the stones and then set the stones right on it. You can move them around with the handle of your brush. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this design, and thank you very much for watching.